Hey, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show. Thanks for tuning in to the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM. If you're interested in sponsoring my show, you can send me an email to the Mike Wagner Show at gmail.com, or you could also donate to the podcast. Just go to the donate listen site, and you can also donate whatever you like. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. For those who are interested, Anchor can give you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. We've got creation tools, allows you to record and edit podcasts so it sounds great, and they'll distribute the podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere. Spotify, Apple, Google, many more. And you can make money from the podcast with no minimum listenership. So download the Anchor app for free or go to Anchor FM to get started.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show brings you famous celebrities and amazing people from all over the world. Listen online at themikewagnershow.com and on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And watch the interview on YouTube. So sit back and relax and enjoy the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition way. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google, and Apple Play. And also subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on YouTube and take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. We're here with a wonderful lady who used to work in the Washington, D.C. area. She's a retired Air Force colonel with 30 years of service, author of Right to Influence, multi-award winning book, public speaker, consultant for the federal government, and taught writing to professionals and, wrote products for the federal government. And she also holds public and private presentations. And her book is fantastic. So if you're looking to write better, this is a lady to talk to. So live from the beautiful area where she's at, and she'll make you learn to write better and make you more motivated. Ladies and gentlemen, the queen of writing, Carla Bass. Carla, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. I've been called lots of things, but never the queen of writing. I like that.
Yes, and powerful writing does change lives, and you have to agree with that. And you've been a retired Air Force colonel with 30 years of service, author of Right to Influence, multi-award winner, and working on a second edition. You're a public speaker and consultant for the federal government. You hold workshops, public and private presentations, and just teaching everybody how to write better, including you've taught ambassadors, you've taught higher-ups, colonels, and everything else in the federal government. And before we get into all that, tell us how I got started.
Sure. Actually, I'm going to take you back to when my father, who was an Air Force colonel, commissioned me. He gave me 3 pieces of advice to this young second lieutenant. He said, first, stay focused on the mission. Don't get caught up in office politics. Second, he said, always keep your sense of humor. And third, he said, always take care of your people, and they will take care of you. So, with all of that in mind, as a lieutenant colonel, I commanded a squadron of 480 wonderful young people in Hawaii. At that point, it was the most losing unit in the statewide quarterly and professional awards, not because these kids didn't deserve it, but because the supervisors above them could not write winning nomination packages. So because your couldn't write well, you didn't get the accelerated promotions or the pay raises. It hurts you sending your kids to college. And so all of these horrible ripple effects because people couldn't write well. So I took 3 days vacation. I sequestered myself in a cabin, analyzed writing, developed a little tiny handbook, taught my guys how to write, and we started sweeping the awards. That's
nice.
Where I realized that powerful writing changes lives. Then the other units in the island, they came and asked if I would teach them also. And Of course I did. But what shocked the heck out of me was that the vacuous need. I ended up, wherever I went in subsequent assignments, I ended up teaching my word sculpting, is what I called it then, word sculpting techniques to thousands of people for the next 15 years. And that was before Facebook and Twitter and all of the social media. And so we need to know those writing methodologies more now than we did ever before.
That's amazing, too. And, of course, with your writing skills and everything, did you teach yourself how to write very efficiently? Or were you like, had these gifts and everything? Or was it just like, you just had this, just natural interest in writing, or you just had to work your way up?
Part of it is hereditary. My father was an Air Force colonel, and years later, generals would come up to me after he had passed and explain that I had no idea how many careers he furthered because he was able to help manipulate and bring stories out. My mother herself was a 2-time published author, so part of it's hereditary. When I was a second lieutenant, I was I wrote daily briefings for the director of the National Security Agency. So for my entire 30-year career, from the very, very, very beginning, I was put in a position where you're writing for general officers. You have one page or X number of seconds, and you simply have to make each word count. So between heredity and the job requiring that of me, that's how I developed the skill set.
Mm-hmm. That was amazing, too. And, of course, you had some really interesting assignments. What do you consider the most fulfilling assignment you had?
The one in Hawaii. And it's only because that was such a life changer for me because I was able to propel the careers of so many people. That was a pivotal assignment. I had no idea really before then the written word on people's lives, whether it's going for career opportunities or grants or scholarships or fellowships or being able to take your business to a whole different level. I just wasn't aware of that. Mm-hmm. I think that the next fascinating job would have been Bulgaria.
Oh, Bulgaria. That's interesting. And, let's talk about Bulgaria. Sounds like an interesting country.
Fascinating. It's the size of, I think they said size of Tennessee, but the culture goes back 6,000 years. I was assigned to the embassy there, and that was just a wonderful assignment.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you also had some fascinating assignments as well, too. And let's talk about that.
Well, those are the biggies. I mean, I was group commander at National Security Agency. I had 2,800 folks for whom I was responsible. And, of course, there's a lot of awards and performance reports. I developed a lot of classes, professional development classes for the senior NCOs, for the airmen. And, of course, wherever I went, I taught the word sculpting and the writing methodologies.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing, too. And let's talk about your book in just a minute here, Right to Influence. You listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition way. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google, and Apple Play. Also, watch the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel and take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. We're here with author Carla Bass. She's a retired Air Force colonel with 30 years of service. She's the author of Right to Influence, who's won numerous awards. And let's talk about some of the awards you won, too. And also, you have the second edition of the book out. Sounds fascinating.
Thank you very much. I premiered the second edition. It actually debuted at the American Library Association's annual convention here in D.C. in the end of June. So it's often run. I'm so excited about the second edition. So what's different between the first and second? When the first edition came out, I immediately began teaching the workshops for government agencies, for corporate clients, for private individuals. I teach at libraries, just NGOs. And all of the material that I developed for those various workshops over the intervening 2 years, I took all that material and incorporated it into the second edition. So now there are brand new chapters in there, and here's how you write an elevator speech. Here's how you write the essay for college applications. There's one on writing submissions for grants. So it's basically taking all of the writing techniques and strategies and methodologies and applying them to those very specific products.
That was amazing too. And what are some of the chapters in the first book that's like highly essential? You talked about the grants. You talked about like with the elevator speeches and everything else. Maybe some tips in there, like say how to get a job or how to get into school, or even say I'm just trying to think of some of the other letters. Just a simple business letter and sales and everything else. So maybe just hit upon some of the chapters and what are some of the tips that's recommended, especially the most common ones.
Sure. The chapters that I just mentioned are additive to or in addition to the chapters that were in the first book. So there's also chapters in there on resumes, on writing briefings. What else? Just off the top of my head, I can't think of anything else. But the tips, I explain to people that each, no matter what you're writing, every single author, whether it's an email or a resume or input for your performance appraisal, you're constrained by time and space. Tick, tick, the reader is busy. So you have to be able to get your message across as quickly as possible. And then space, very often you're limited to space, physical space, whether it's the top part of a web page, or tell me what you want to say in 300 words, or if there's a government form, sometimes the space is actually marked out on the government form. So you have to know how to make every single space count. So some of the strategies, I teach people to think in terms of an inverted triangle. First, you have to develop the strategy of your message. That's the top large part of the triangle. And after you've got the draft, this is where you apply the word sculpting techniques, which is part 2 of the second edition, where you hone your draft, and that's where you make every single word count. But some of the strategies, again, bearing in mind that time and space are limited, the first strategy is prioritize your message. If you have 30 seconds of the reader or the listener's time, what's the most important thing you want to get across first? So you list those out, and I advise everybody outline, because every author, you're a tour guide. You're taking your reader on a journey. So you know the beginning of the message, and you know the destination that you want to lead them, where you want to lead them, and then you outline the steps in between. That outline process helps you hone the message and helps you make sure you don't lose any key points. Mm-hmm. And then another thing people sometimes do is they accidentally bury the golden nugget. People think that they have to build so much preliminary information, kind of make the case before they get to the main point, that by time you share the main point, you've already lost the reader. So that's where I mentioned get the main points up front first.
Mm-hmm. So basically, in terms of burying the golden nugget, and you talked about that. So basically, do you just lay out the golden nugget up front in the message, or you just want to emphasize, you just drag it out, or just simply lay it on the line? So we just want to make sure burying the golden nugget is a good thing. Get out there right away.
Well, sometimes it depends on the product, but basically you put the golden nuggets up front. Again, if you only got X number of minutes for the reader or the audience, you need to get that message up front before you lose their attention. Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead. Keep going on. You're doing good.
All right. Some of the now once you've got the main draft, that's where you bring out these word sculpting techniques, and some of those are useless words. Get rid of the useless words. Then there are other examples. The second word sculpting tool is don't use words that hog space. So I can give you some examples of where you take 3 or 4 words and you're able to condense them into one. Verbs are your friends. This one I love teaching. This one. Imagine a hard-boiled egg. You got that? A hard-boiled egg. Mm-hmm. And concentrate now. Envision the yolk. The yolk is the verb. The white stuff surrounding it is the bureaucratic blather that very often in corporate and business and government writing, we bury the verbs in unnecessary words, such as arrive at a solution to a problem. Well, you just resolve the problem. You don't have to arrive at a solution to it. Or provide answers. Don't provide answers, just answer. Need to have a discussion with. We need to discuss. So those are just a couple of tips on how you go from fat writing down to skinny writing.
Amazing, too. I'm glad you wrote that up and are brought to our attention. And what are some of the other bureaucratic phrases that you see very often? On a national basis, on a daily basis, on a monthly basis, that is all. Just listen to any of the major newscasters, you'll hear that. And instead of saying on a monthly basis, just say monthly. On a daily basis, daily. So there's all sorts of ways you can trim this excess verbiage. And that's so important when you get back to that time and space matters. And another one, now this falls in the useless words category, provide with. And it doesn't sound so very important, but if you're into a writing situation where literally every single space counts, the word with is completely extraneous. I provide you the opportunity, you provide me the platform to address your readers. You don't have to provide with. So again, it's a nuance, but those little nuances truly add up and make a big difference. Mm-hmm. So it's learning how to wield it. Mm-hmm. And also, too, what do you think about, the current administration as well, too? You think there's a lot of bureaucratic, waste when it comes to phrases and everything, or do you think it has trimmed down the current administration?
I'm sorry, ask that again.
Oh, okay. You talked about you worked with the federal government, you work products and everything else. So I was want to ask us too, like with today's federal government, do you think there's a lot of bureaucratic phrases out there, or do you think they've eliminated it, or are they currently working on it right now?
Oh no, the bureaucratic blather, as I put it, it's been around for a very, very long time. It's if anything, it's gotten worse. When you and I were in school, I think the education system was quite good at teaching grammar and writing and so forth. And I think our academic system, no dings on the teachers, they are heroes and heroines. But I think our academic structure has backed off from imparting that kind of knowledge. So when kids come even out of grad school, they're still writing fat. And that handicaps them because the employers nowadays, everybody, once you're in this environment, you have to make those words count. Seconds matter. And students, they're given the assignment, write a 5,000-word paper, and the instinctive response is a little bit of meat, a lot of fat, and I can make that mark, except that's teaching them exactly the wrong habit. And so they don't know how to write with focus and precision when they graduate, and that hurts them too. When it comes time to submitting input for your personal appraisal, people don't like doing that. It's not very pleasant, but you're given X number of spaces or X number of words. You have to know how to identify and convey as much information about what you did and get the credit for it as possible in that space. But if you don't know how to add the details to make the story sing, or if you fill that valuable space with so many useless words, you're truly hurting your.
Mm-hmm. And he also talked about
that I learned back at the
And he also talks about the resumes as well, too. What are some of the killer words that pretty much kill a resume, like with the enemy fat fillers and everything else? It's in other words, what words should be cut out of a resume?
Well, it's the resume. The biggest thing I see in resumes is the verbs, bullets. If you're starting bullet statements, and in particular with resumes, they all should start with verbs. They all should begin with the same tense verbs, and they should all be powerful verbs. So I'm going to read to you these bullets came from one particular resume, and listen to how it snags. This is how not to do it. Co-lead subject matter, responsible for, solely responsible for, provide coordination, responsible for, coordinates, supports, provides analysis, provided support, responsible for. When you've got a resume that just bullet after bullet after bullet, like I just read, the reader, you've lost the reader because those bullets convey nothing about what you've done. Instead, it would be developed, implemented, initiated, led, hard-hitting, concrete, action-oriented bullets that explain exactly what you did do. And then add details, because details make a story pop as well. Supervised a team that studied a project and made recommendations to the CEO. Okay, that's good. Supervised a 9-person team on a 6-week study that made 8 recommendations to the CEO. All recommendations were accepted, saved the company $850,000. That's another thing I foot stomp in the book is look at what you've written and then add those details, because they provide the reader it's a mental yardstick to understand truly what's the significance of what you accomplished, and sometimes folks don't know to do that.
And it's important as well, too, to know with the job market out there for college graduates. And it's a good book for the college graduates. And also, I also grew up where it's like we did a lot of essays, especially on the 3-point thesis. And of course, maybe you can just tell everybody what the 3-point thesis is.
What the 3-point thesis is. You tell me. I did a lot of writing. We did a lot of sentence diagramming. That's how I learned how to make the words sing.
Yeah, and that's also something you grew up as well, too. There are people out there that don't know how to use it. So that's something emphasized as well. And I have to say this, that, the 3-point is very, very important as well, too. So we'll talk more about the book as well, too. You listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition way. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, and also take The Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device, and watch the interview on YouTube as well on The Mike Wagner Show. We're here with author Carla Bass, retired Air Force Colonel, 30 years of service, author of Right to Influence, a multi-award winner, and, just a little more about the book, and you can just tell everybody how can they purchase the book.
The book is available online at Amazon or Barnes & Nobles or other online outlets. It's available in paperback and ebook format also. Lots of information about the book and myself and the workshops at www.righttoinfluence.net. And it's, I love this thing. People stop me in the hallways and they say, Colonel Bass, if it hadn't been for, I wouldn't have been able to. So this stuff really does change lives, and it's also a lifeblood for effective operation, effective businesses as well.
That was amazing as well too, and of course you also hold workshops as well too. And if you and if you're on tour and everything, when's your next workshops if you travel throughout the U.S.?
Well, I'm teaching a 2-day workshop in Chicago for a corporate client in the end of October. July, I was on the road a great deal. I support the U.S. Geological Survey, and I gave 2 full-day workshops for them. And then New York also. I was in New York City for giving a 2-day workshop there. I do a lot of 1-hour workshops locally. So I'm pretty, and all of this is on my personal time. I still work for the federal government. So everything I do with Right to Influence is truly a labor of love, and it's all on my vacation time. And I don't begrudge that at all.
Mm-hmm. And that's amazing as well, too. And of course, we talk about writing and, how to influence. Who do you consider your favorite writers and authors?
Daniel Silva. And not that I have a whole lot of time to read, but he's in the spy genre, and that man can cram so much feeling, so much meaning into a single sentence. And I paraphrase this, so I apologize to Daniel, but the doorbell rang with the urgency of an angry infant. I mean, just think about the sound that an angry infant, just 4 or 5 words. And it's like, oh, my God, that's so good. So I appreciate who can infuse so much meaning into so few. So Daniel Silva is my hero in the fictional world. But when that raises another point, is this right to influence stuff, although the applications are heavily weighted towards nonfiction, towards business, towards resumes and grants and all those things we've mentioned, it's also applicable for the world of fiction. I just had an article published in an online magazine, and it's fact of fiction, turn a pumpkin into a carriage. Nobody likes to read swimming pool books. A swimming pool book to me is if you take a paperback and you're floating around in the pool and you fall in, it's no big deal because you read 2 or 3 sentences on a page and you get the idea. You just kind of keep skimming through. Even fiction authors, the idea is to write it so that the reader hangs on every single word and you don't want to go by a single paragraph because it's so rich in meaning. That's Daniel Silva.
Wow. I never heard of the guy. I have to check out his books. That's so amazing. Wow. Oh, my goodness. I have to go buy the book as well, too. and, of course, just a couple of things here. Who do you consider your biggest influence in your career besides your dad?
John Wayne.
John Wayne. How so?
When I was John Wayne. Yep. Well, I grew up in a very patriotic family. My dad was Air Force intelligence for the last half of his career, and John Wayne, my father, and Bob Hope, they were the cocoon in which I was raised. I was raised to love the country and want to serve her. So my father and John Wayne, you watch the John Wayne movies, he stood for integrity, he stood for courage, he stood for family, he stood for country. And so John Wayne and my dad.
Nice. And what's your favorite John Wayne movie?
Oh, I like them all. I think from a comedic perspective, either Donovan Threef or McClintock.
Interesting. I like True Grit myself. I remember watching that as one of the first movies I saw in drive-in. I guess that's one of the popular ones. I enjoyed True Grit a lot. That had been my favorite.
Yeah, that was a good one as well. Definitely a good one too.
That's great. And what's the best of? Wait, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say my proudest possession, and this is if there's a tornado coming, I told my kids, grab this and run for the basement. I wrote him a letter. Unfortunately, he was dying and nobody knew it. But when I was in Germany, I wrote her, and it reached him. I asked in this letter, I said, all I want to do is shake your hand. I will take personal leave. I'll fly from Germany, just 5 minutes of your time. What I received in response, though, from his personal secretary was a signed photograph. Dear Carla, good luck, John Wayne. So I've got that framed and hanging behind a flag downstairs in my family room here. And I told the kids that if ever there's a tornado or something, grab that photograph, head for the basement, because everything else in the house the insurance will cover. But not that, dear Carla. Good luck, John Wayne photo.
Oh my gosh, it makes me want to get a hold of a John Wayne. That's great. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Get the book, but not because I'm trying to sell the books. It's because if you can learn how to leverage words to your own advantage, it opens doors to opportunity for a lifetime. So whether you're the private business owner trying to further your business, or the high school kid trying to write that first resume from soup to nuts, this is life-changing stuff. It's a life skill, and that's it. It's learn how to write powerfully. It opens doors.
Yes, and powerful writing does change lives, and it can yours change too. And Carla, just want to say a big thank you for your time. You've been fantastic, and I'm ready to get out there and write as well too. Purchase a book, and once again, what's your upcoming projects? What's your website? How do people contact you, and where can they purchase a book?
Okay, thank you. The book is on Amazon and Barnes & Nobles and several other outlets. It's in paperback and ebook. The second edition, I emphasize the second edition because that's got so much additional information. So check out the second edition. The website is www.write2influence.net. You can email me at Carla, C-A-R-L-A, at write2influence.net. I teach workshops that go anywhere from 1 hour to 2 full days for corporate, for academic, for private business, for NGOs. And this is a calling. I mean, the comments I get from everybody, it's the wind behind my sails. This is what I love to do now, is help others help themselves.
That is amazing. Carl, just want to say a big thank you for your time. You've been fantastic. I learned a lot from you. And please do everybody a favor, keep us up to date. Look forward to having you on back again soon.
Thank you very, very much.
Thanks for listening to The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Listen online at themikewagnershow.com and on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And watch the interview on YouTube. Also, become a sponsor of the program and or donate today at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again tomorrow for another episode of The Mike Wagner Show.